Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you all in good condition and happy situation.
In the opening session, the students answer all questions from the teacher.
Okay, well, before we are going to the lesson today, I'll check the attendance first. Aisyah Hanum. Okay, good. Muhammad Khoirun. Okay. Muhammad Sholahuddin. Okay. Shavira Evi. Well, now let's open our lesson today by reciting basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, class, who knows the storytale under the title Cinderella?
This part makes some interactive communications between the students and the teacher himself.
Because today's material is about Cinderella, I would like to play a video about Cinderella.
When the class watching the video together instead of explaining the story chronologically, the video source had prepared before the lesson taken from YouTube.
Cinderella's story. Once upon a time, there was a kind girl named Cinderella. All of the animals loved her, especially two mice named Gus and Jacques. They'd do anything for the girl they called Cinderella. Cinderella lived with her stepmother and her two stepsisters, Anastasia and Rosella. They were very mean to Cinderella, making her work all day cleaning, sewing, and cooking. She tried her best to make them happy. Cinderella's stepmother, Lady Tremaine, was cold, cruel, and jealous of Cinderella's charm and beauty. She enjoyed giving Cinderella extra chores to do, such as bathing her cat Lucifer. One day, a messenger arrived with a special invitation. There was going to be a royal ball at the palace. The king wanted his son to find a bride. Every young woman in the kingdom was invited, including Cinderella. Cinderella was very excited about the ball. In the attic, she found a dress that had belonged to her mother. It was a bit old-fashioned, but Cinderella could make it beautiful. Lady Tremaine didn't want Cinderella to go to the ball. She wanted the prince to meet Anastasia and Rosella. Maybe he would marry one of them. Lady Tremaine kept Cinderella busy with chores that would take her all night to finish. While Cinderella was working, the mice and birds fixed her dress. They added ribbons and beads that the two stepsisters had thrown away. Working together, the animals turned a simple dress into a fabulous gown. Cinderella was overjoyed when she saw the dress. Now she could go to the ball. "Oh, thank you so much," Cinderella said to Gus, Jacques, and the birds. When the stepsisters saw their old ribbons and beads on Cinderella's dress, they flew into a rage. They ripped the dress and pulled off the beads. Lady Tremaine didn't stop them. Cinderella's dream of going to the ball was through. Cinderella ran away to the garden to cry. Suddenly, her fairy godmother appeared. With a wave of her wand, she turned a pumpkin into an elegant coach. Cinderella could now go to the ball, but her dress was still ruined. Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, said the fairy godmother, waving her wand again. Cinderella was now wearing a beautiful gown and sparkling glass slippers. But all of this came with a warning. When the clock struck midnight, the magic spell would wear off. At the ball, Prince Charming couldn't take his eyes off. The orchestra played, and the prince began to dance with the wonderful girl whose name he still didn't know. For Cinderella, the night was a dream come true. Before too long, the clock began to strike midnight. "Goodbye," Cinderella said, hurrying away. "Come back," called the prince. "I don't even know your name." As Cinderella fled, one of her glass slippers came off. The prince sent the Grand Duke to find the girl who fit the glass slipper. Lady Tremaine locked Cinderella in the attic. But Cinderella's mouse friends freed her. Then, Lady Tremaine tripped the Grand Duke, and the glass slipper shattered. But Cinderella had the other in her pocket, and it fit. Cinderella and the prince were soon married. Everyone rejoiced, including Cinderella's mouse friends, who wore special outfits to the wedding. Filled with joy, Prince Charming and Cinderella lived happily ever after. The end.
Okay class, you have watched the video and I am sure that you already understand with the plot of the story. Now, please make group consist of 5 students and please make a circle for each group.
Then the students gather into their groups and make the circle tidily. This project makes the use boredom during.
Well, I will give you this student worksheet which comprises many pictures that describe the story plot, and your job is to fill the blank of paper to describe the pictures in words. So, you will write the Cinderella story from your idea and write down to this paper. But the rule, one student describe one picture. After that, give the paper pass their piece of paper to the person on your left in the circle. Do you understand, class?
After all students understand, they can begin the game. The students write the sentence at the top of their piece of paper and write the next sentence in 3 to 5 minutes. The teacher keeps track of students and asks everyone to pass their paper to the person on their left. They all now have to write the next sentence of the story on the piece of paper in front of them. The procedure continues until the piece of paper is returned to the original owners. At this point, the teacher tells everyone to write a sentence to finish the story off, however ridiculous.
Okay, after you have finished with your story, I will call each group to present your story in front. Are you ready?
Then the students are encouraged to read out loud the stories they have just finished, and the teacher gives feedbacks and evaluation for the presentation.
Okay, overall the presentation from you all was great. The story plot has been structured. One point is don't be shy to speak up in front of the public. Okay.
At the end of the meeting, the teacher explaining the moral value from the story of Cinderella.
Well, what's the moral value from the story, class?
And also the teacher asks for reflection from their meeting.
And what have you learned from the meeting today? One, please conclude the reflection from this meeting.
And after one of the students explained about reflection for the lesson that day, the teacher closes the meeting.
Finally, we are at the end of the meeting, and let's recite Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.